Hey friends, I'm Leslie.
Hey guys, I'm Marian.
And I'm Angie. Together, we are the therapists of Eden Therapy Co., and we are inviting you to have a seat at Eden's table.
Coming to you live from Miami, we believe in healing hearts, shining the light, and bridging the gap in mental health. Come sit with us as we learn, laugh, and explore how faith and mental health collide. Hello and welcome back. We're here together for a new episode of Eden's Table. And what are we talking about today?
We're talking about men.
Men and mental health.
I love that for us. Let's get into it.
So why do you guys think it's important for us as women, and I mean, we are therapists that do see men, but why is it important for us to talk about men and mental health?
Well, because women are not the only people who experience anxiety, depression, eating disorders, abuse, any of that kind.
That's so good, because for the podcast, like I was studying what are some of the statistics, and the statistics don't lie, guys. Males make up 50% of our population, but out of that 50%, 80% will commit suicide. Isn't that like number just, it's so sad.
Yeah.
And then when you think of sexual abuse trauma, 1 in 6 or 7 men will experience some kind of sexual abuse or trauma. And the statistic is that 6 to 10 million boys, men will have an eating disorder. Wow. So when we look at these statistics, like men are out here suffering.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think they don't get enough credit. They don't get enough room to have emotional experiences. I think with culture, we put men in this box of they have to have it all together. They have to be able to provide. They have to meet all of our emotional needs. And we get to have room and space to have our feelings and to just be.
Women are soft and tender and emotional. Men are logical and tough and strong. And being the man of the house means you don't, express emotions. You don't show that side of you. It's weak.
So I'm laughing because, like, growing up in Hispanic households, how many times did you hear, like, no, you can't, men don't have feelings, or just power through it, or you're, the guy is supposed to study something that's going to make lots of money, and that's not really normal, I would say, like sometimes it is, sometimes it's not, every person comes built with different gifts and talents, and that's kind of like how we are. I was also thinking about men and like, why is it so hard for them to even access treatment? Like, what are the things that happen that make it difficult for men to access treatment,
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind to me is stigma.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't need that, I'm good. Is the phrase that comes to mind. Like, I have my stuff together. Yeah. I don't need somebody to talk through my feelings with.
Yeah. Or if I were to need that, like there's something that means something about me. Like I'm weak, or I'm not strong enough. There's something wrong with me.
Right.
Like I'm failing almost as being like the man or a husband or a father, whatever is attached to it.
Yeah. It's so important to look at the context, right? Like, where did you get these messages from? And I mean, we look at the root a lot of times when we're working with any client, and with men, a lot of times it's, what were the messages in your family about masculinity? Was there even a father around that you could look up to, that you could learn from? What were the male role models that were in your life? And a lot of times, if you don't have that, I've worked with men that they seem to be more emotionally in touch if they've been around a lot of women or grown up around women. But even that's like seen as a negative trait, as opposed to something that could be positive, right?
Yeah,
I agree. I even think of like men, like mostly, right? The emotion that they're like trained, right, quote unquote, to feel comfortable expressing is anger. Like that's the powerful one. Like there's no sadness or tears. It's angry and like power and control.
Or fear. Fear is one of the biggest things that I think is hard for a man to acknowledge or admit. Like, I'm scared. Yeah. I'm afraid of this happening. Most of the time, you're absolutely right. It comes across as withdrawing, shutting down, or just pulling away, kind of retreating to themselves, or just being super irritable.
Yeah, I was thinking about the withdrawal, and because like if you don't want to be super angry, right? A lot of what we see in men is that they withdraw and they don't communicate their feelings, and they kind of keep it internally. And then we wonder why there's a huge generation of men that are comfortable looking at their phones, looking at porn, playing video games. Yeah. All of that is a level of dissociation, right? Where you don't have to be present and you don't have to express your feelings. You don't have to be emotionally connected, because all of those things are seen more feminine as opposed to masculine. But men need to be able to speak about their feelings and about whatever bothers them in the same way.
I even think about productivity. I think a lot of men use things like video games, even just recreational smoking. I mean, quote unquote recreational. And you fill in the blank with things as an excuse to be bored, to not do anything, to not be productive. Oh, okay. To be able to relax.
And I was thinking about productivity, even like how much of male identity is tied to work. Yeah. And so it's just like, oh, I'm going to be working. I'm in that hustle. I'm going to go meet with this person. I'm going to meet with that person. Yeah. But meanwhile, they're neglecting everything that's happening inside of their heart, inside of their minds, right? Absolutely. And how hard that is. Because if that is the expectation that we have, that they're going to be these millionaires that come and rescue us, right? Yeah. Like, that's a lot of pressure on someone if I think about it, right?
Yeah. I think there is right now, especially, there's a lot of pressure on men to be this perfect, complete package that makes a certain amount of money, is able to provide, is emotionally intellectual, has emotional intelligence, is in touch with their own feelings, and is able to be with you and your feelings, also has to be fun, also just all these things, and that's just not realistic for a human. That's too much. You know, nobody is everything that you need or want them to be.
No, they can't be.
No, it's too much pressure and it's too much expectation. And I always think of like, you can build a leader and you can build a great father and you can build a great husband. It comes with like, there's going to be something that they need help with. There's going to be something that they're struggling with. And are you that soft landing for them? Or are you reinforcing all their fears of like, no, I have to contain it all together and I have to like not fall apart, you know? And I think the way that you like approach that matters. The way that you seek emotional connection also matters.
Right. I agree. And I also think that even as a therapist, like being a therapist of males is very different from being a therapist of females, right? Yeah. So in what ways have you guys experienced it being different?
For our differences in personality play a huge role. I've gotten the opportunity to work with many males in the field, and it's been an incredible experience for me. Freeing, mostly because I tend to be more direct. I have more of a direct approach. I like just let's talk. Let's just be straight up about what we're talking through. I don't necessarily beat around the bush. My approach isn't the most gentle, like maybe Leslie's is. And I've found that it's easier with men. Yeah. They appreciate the directness. They appreciate like, let's just get to the point. Let's talk about. Let's call things out. And I don't mean that in an intense, mean way, but more in just a direct way. Maybe more linear.
Yeah. I mean, I think even biologically, the way that we're wired, we're different. Like, I do agree that like men are more logical, and I think that speaks to them. You know, like I think, like you said, like I could be very gentle and like very kind, but I think that working with men, it has taught me like, no, it's okay to kind of just like, hey, this is the facts, this is the logic, this is what's going on, being like clear and concise. Yes. Versus, you know, all of like the gentle fluff.
Yeah, most of research actually shows that for men, they want goal. Yeah. They want it to be direct, and they want to know that they have like gains. Kind of like if you go to the gym, right? Like I want to know like what's the plan that we're going to follow, how are we going to execute, and how are we going to get there, right? I tend to work with men, usually a little bit older is what, well, that's actually not true. Sometimes I work with young adults and teenage boys too. But I have lately been working more with men who maybe were that big provider that had a lot of money, and all of a sudden something happens and they can't be that anymore. And it definitely has brought them into like a crisis of identity, a crisis just in general, where a lot of these feelings of sadness and suicidality actually do come up because they've been taught like this is the role you have to have, and so they pursue that fiercely. They get it, they're at the top of their game, and all of a sudden boom, something happens, right?
That's, I think, goes back to, and I think we've talked about it before when we talked about identity, but just identity being tied to what you do, what you provide, how much success you've accomplished versus like who you are. Like, what are your character traits? Like, who are you as an individual?
Yeah.
And I think, Leslie, to your point, that's what therapy does. It kind of like whittles it down to like, yes, it's important for you to be a contributing partner and a contributing person in society and be there for your partner or be, you know, be the person, the best person or who God made you to be. But in the same token, that doesn't always equal, not from like a feminism point of view, but it doesn't always equal that you have to be like super uber successful, right? That doesn't have to be who you are.
Yeah. And I think that I think that this is hard for men to sit with. I don't know that they know what to do with that.
Yeah.
The complexities of who a person is, all that makes them who and what they are. I think men kind of like to simplify things, not that they can't understand complexities, but in terms of emotions and just the integrated self, they don't know. They don't get to, nobody teaches them this early on. You know, things are pretty just like direct, straightforward, and simple. And so when I see it all the time in relationships, when they come and they're in a relationship with a woman, and then the woman has all of these very complex individual, you see them shut down a lot or withdraw, shut down, push the other partner away, become rude or just a little bit more demanding. They don't know what to do with the emotional experience. And then you see the woman with the expectation, like, don't you understand how I feel? Don't you? Can't you hold this with me? And they can't. Not that they can't. They just haven't learned how.
They don't have the tools to do so, which is why they would come see you.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, I think that men come naturally wired with an instinct for adventure, for creativity. Like, they want a quest. Like, they want to know. And I've been reading this book called Wild at Heart that's actually written for men, which is beautiful. And it talks about this innate need that men and boys have to be able to be out in the wild, to be able to have an experience, you know. And when I think about it, like, even growing up, like, my brother, he could go bike riding, you know, and like all these rough, not that bike riding is rough, but it was at that time where we lived, activities. And I would be happy, you know, playing with my dolls or, you know, doing things that were not as rough and tough until I became a teenager. Then that was different. But like, it's interesting that we come with this, like, men come with this sense of adventure. And I believe, like, us as women, we come with a sense of nurturing. Yeah. Like, most of us have dolls that we take care of when we're younger, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Marianne and Leslie, like, in your work with relationships, what are maybe some common themes that make it hard on the men's side that if maybe they knew what to do would make their relationship or communication with their partner easier?
I mean, I would say that I think women are more trained or more able to vocalize, like, hey, I don't feel safe right now. This is what I need. I think that, like, a big learning curve for me, even within like my marriage and in sessions with clients, it's learning, like, sometimes the man isn't able to verbalize that, but it doesn't mean that he's not lacking safety. Like, they're in this fight or flight, and I'm not acknowledging it, I'm not realizing it, because I'm just like, no, but you're shut down and you're not listening to me. Like, what's going on here, right? And I think that a big learning curve is realizing, like, that way of, like, shutting down and like getting defensive and like being dismissive is them communicating to me, like, I'm lacking safety right now,
right?
You know, but they're not able to verbalize it. So being able to just teach them, like, okay, this is what you do. This is how you get yourself back to safety. How do you communicate what you need right now? Because they're not used to doing that. Again, they're the ones that provide the needs. They're the ones that, like, fulfill the needs. They're not the ones that are asking for needs too.
Right. What comes to mind for me is oftentimes when the woman is communicating their feelings, I think men can take that to mean something about who they are. Yeah. And so I would say just there, you have to separate how someone feels with who that makes you, who you are at your core, because they're not the same thing. If she feels angry, upset, or hurt, whatever, that does not equal to I'm a failure in my relationship or I'm just fill in the blank with from I'm statement. It's not.
Yeah. I think one of the protective factors that I see is if men have a group of men that they can actually talk to, surround themselves with. It's a little bit different. I mean, even in the way that we communicate, if you notice, like women can sit across from each other and talk, but how do guys usually communicate? Playing basketball, playing a video game, side to side. Like they're not looking at each other's eyes and being like, hey, how are you feeling today? You know? But if they do have a sense of community, like 2 or 3 people that they can go to and be like, hey man, I haven't been feeling well, and use their own language where their friend or their community can understand, it becomes such a huge protective factor and a place where they can unload and then come back into relationship, and they're able to have an appreciation for their partner.
I agree. Like just talking about the real stuff, because I see it all the time. Like, and like my friends and I will laugh about it. Like we'll get together, the girls, and we'll know everything. We'll talk about each other's like deepest, darkest like wounds, everything that's going on, like whatever. And then like my husband will go and spend time with his friends, and he'll come back, and I'm like, so what? Like, what did you find out? He's like, nothing. Like, I'm like,
what did you find out? Not how did it go? Did you have a good time? No, what did you learn from this?
You get what I mean? Like, what did you guys talk about? Oh, no, nothing. We talked about like the football, and we talked about like, you know, I was like, nothing real. Like, you didn't hear that they're going through this, or that this is happening, or that they're buying a house. Like, you didn't, nothing. And they're like,
he's like, no, we don't spill the tea to each other. We just hang out.
Yeah. I'm like, wow.
Which is interesting, because that's something male and female friendships are so different. There's a lot of just like content in female friendships, and with guys, they really are just hanging out. They're simple creatures. They're not that complicated, you know? And I think one of the challenges within building their community, or just having community, you can have a group of men that have known each other since they were 12, and their relationship with each other, and they're the most consistent. Like, I think men can really sustain relationships over the course of a long period of time, which is awesome, but they don't necessarily get into the nitty-gritty of their relationships. It's not that simple to just sit with your friends and just like have a really hard, like, deep conversation. I think there's certain people that they can feel really safe, but it doesn't, they're few and far between. They're not, it's not that easy.
It looks different.
Yeah, it looks very different, I think. Yeah. I mean, if I think of like one of the people that I have worked with that is a male, he has this amazing core group of friends, and they go hiking together and they go fishing together. And I'm always in awe, because I think that that's beautiful, but it makes him such a better leader at work, such a better partner in his relationships. Like, it makes him just a better person, you know? Or I think of even some of the older males that I have that have sons, and the things that they do together. Like, one of them actually went to Coachella with his son.
That's awesome.
Which is really funny, but it's hilarious.
JB.
That's great.
But, you know, it was like their adventure together, you know, and they didn't care staying in a tent, you know, or an RV or whatever it was, you know, whereas glamping for me, thank you.
You know what's coming to mind too, usually I think men will rely on their female partners to be that container for them. So they're not really going deep and having these conversations with their guys. They feel the safest doing that with that one person who is a girl. Male-female relationships, like, that they feel the most safe with.
Yes,
so
I agree.
It's good, and I think expanding that network would be really beneficial, because it puts a lot of pressure on that one person. If you don't have that one person, then you don't have anyone.
I just want to say that I really think it's really important for men to look towards their sons and be able to talk about, like, what are they seeing? What are they viewing? You know, like, understanding the context as to which these boys who will become men are being, like, raised in, right? Or even us as therapists, we have to understand the context as to which the men we're treating, like, what were they raised in? Like, I'm thinking about porn and how that's not really a natural way of sexuality, right? And if you don't have anybody to talk to, you might see that that's like what it's supposed to be, and that's what's normal, and it's not. And I'm using porn because it is a big issue in men, but women also, which I think people don't speak about a lot, but it does happen in women too, you know. Or I was reading, there's this new TikTok trend for boys that they have to have the, like, perfect jawline. And it is crazy that for body image in men, like, there are targeted, like, commercials and reels that are convincing little boys that they have to have a square, like, perfect And some people even like that's where mewing came from, which is a term.
Oh, yeah.
But it's so sad. And so
What is me? I'm so sorry. My age is showing. What is
It's like a thing that you do, like so you put like your tongue like on the top or something like that because it like
makes your
works out your
jawline.
jawline.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
So
But
you
it's-
see people like
It's called look smacks.
Oh my God, that guy.
Yes.
No, okay, that guy. I don't know if I could say that, but that guy. Yes.
Stop. Yeah, no, it's called look smaxing.
Bone smashing.
Yes.
that's insane.
Yeah, which
What?
right.
Squidward.
Well, it's called it is. It's called look maxing, and it's really scary because one of the interventions that they're saying for kids to do is really not okay. And so I know, again, I'm not trying to be like a sensationalist, but if you are a father of a son, like it's not just about girls looking and like being like, oh, I'm comparing myself to Instagram. No, like boys are doing it too.
Absolutely.
And you have to teach them that they are, I mean, perfectly made the way that they are, but also to curate what your kids are watching and make sure that you're not passing anything on also, right? Because to me, it's crazy that their whole self-esteem is based on a jawline, people. Like, it's so sad.
And that's just huge indicator of where culture, the direction that culture is headed now, where we're at. You know, where it's very driven by looks, like who we're portraying ourselves to be on social media.
Right.
Yeah, everything kind of going online and connection being limited to this, you know, or being focused and on this, which is scary.
Scary. So instead of being scared, let's change the narrative, guys. So what can we do to encourage men to come into mental health or just to destigmatize? Because Marian, you were talking about like the stigma of mental health. Like, like how can we destigmatize mental health for men and encourage them to come in?
Let's see.
I mean, I think just going back to even what the stigma is, right? Like there's something wrong with you or you're weak because you maybe struggle with mental health or you carry emotions like you do as a human being. So I think just speaking to that and like reminding the man in your life or the men in your life, like that's not true. You know, like you have needs and you have wounds and you have like your heart also needs nurturing. Now, it doesn't mean anything about you.
Yeah, of course. Like your identity is not limited to what you can bring to the table. Absolutely. You know, and you do need support, not just expectations to meet.
And also, I would say, you know, encourage the men in your life to surround themselves with other men so that they can talk to each other and understand and like speak in their own language, I would say, you know, but also to say, okay, well, let's not keep mental health in. Let's learn to talk about our feelings in whatever way is right for you, right? Because like even here we use like so many different interventions. Some people want to draw more or write more or speak more, like whatever it is, you know, or bring your spouse to therapy.
Yeah.
Or your partner.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. No,
Isn't it a
absolutely.
different experience?
Oh, it's a great experience. I mean, it's one thing to talk with one person about their relationship and their situation, but so much more happens when the two come into the room and you get to hear not just one side, but you get to hear the other side.
Absolutely.
And being able to bridge that gap is great.
Yeah, I would also normalize vulnerability. I think we're really scared of being vulnerable in relationship, outside of relationships, with friends, at work, I mean, everywhere. But the truth is that we are all vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we all have feelings. We're all emotional beings.
Yes.
So since men like to be goal-directed and they like steps, I thought we could share the 4-line check that we teach here, which is if you want to start getting in touch with how you're feeling, there's 4 areas that you can see. One is ask yourself, how am I feeling mentally? How am I feeling in my heart? How am I feeling in my body? And the last one is, how am I feeling in my connection to God or spirituality? And usually when you go down that 4-line check, it's just 4 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can really come up with how you're doing. And if there is an issue, if you are feeling a type of way, like get help, because it's better to talk about your feelings than to do something that could be permanent.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right.
All right, ladies. Well,
It's been great.
It's been great. It's been great. Just remember to comment, like, subscribe.
All the goodies.
All the good things. And share with somebody who may need to hear this. So if there's a man in your life that you think needs to hear this, send it over.
Yep, that's right. We'll catch you later.
Bye.
Well, friends, thank you for tuning in. And remember, freedom is possible. Join us next time at Eden's Table, where you can always sit with us.